Well, hello and welcome back. Hey, baby.
Cheers. Cheers.
It is a lovely day here in the neighborhood, and we are back for another episode of Take a Sip with Rob and Con.
Yep.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Welcome. We have another episode of Later Daters. So,
Later Daters.
just as a brief reminder, so we've been using the Later Daters show on Netflix as a point of departure to talk about life, love, relationships, especially dating over 50. And so you do not have to be watching that show, hopefully, to enjoy our little discussion here today. It is just something.
I think you will find that we are funny as hell and you will enjoy the commentary.
And if nothing else, you can look at my beautiful wife and be pleased with that.
Well, if you're watching on YouTube.
Exactly.
And obviously they can't see me on the podcast.
But if they are watching on YouTube, cheers. All right, so let's get into it. We have been following the love lives of several strangers in the Atlanta area.
Yep.
And
been loving it.
Judging them harshly, not really. But
we kind of judge them harshly. That's it. You set yourself up for that when you're on TV.
You do.
Right? So when I get to be on TV, I fully expect people to treat me the same way.
For sure. I mean, you
just don't tell me.
I know. Stay out of my DMs. So, yeah, I think we've been tried to be fair, but obviously some things when it comes to dating, there may be positives or negatives. We get into that. So please forgive us not intending to be too hard.
Of course not. No.
Episode 5 is what we're up to. This is called 𝗪𝗯 Knows Best.
Yep. And she does.
We think she might. So 𝗪𝗯 is Anissa's daughter.
Yeah. Anissa is one of the people on the show looking for love. And 𝗪𝗯 is her daughter. And I just love her daughter. I think she's real. I think she just tells it like it is. And I think she's just straightforward with it.
Absolutely.
And I love their relationship.
Yeah. Well, and they're able to, she's able to be honest with her mom. But in a supportive way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think we both like her, like what she brings to that dynamic as well.
Yeah.
Let's start with Lori. So if you recall, we've talked about Lori. Lori is having trouble finding her person. And Lori is, she's an interesting lady. When you first think of Lori, what do you think of?
Glasses.
Damn right.
That's all I see is glasses. Glasses. And then the second thing is just overwhelming personality.
And by glasses, they're damn near goggles. They are just, they cover up her whole face. And as we said before, she looks like the little person from The Incredibles, that little...
It totally does. Yeah, totally does. And Logan addressed that with her, but Lori is unwilling to change her glasses. She didn't even want to talk about it.
Not having it.
So that's that.
That's not happening. Next topic.
Lori went, that's that.
Yeah. And so Lori likes her glasses, and Lori's keeping her glasses.
Yes, she's keeping her glasses. But we open with her talking about her last date with Ty. Ty is the one that was really focused on her feet. He has like a foot fetish. She said she didn't mind that.
No.
So, which is, I guess, is good.
Not a deal breaker.
But I guess he hasn't contacted her after they had their date.
But during this date, Ty made what Lori thought was a very, very huge, big mistake. Huge, as they say in the movie.
This is a huge mistake, according to Lori, which I thought was silly. Y'all let us know if this is silly.
Yeah.
She didn't like that Ty wore a white T-shirt under his regular dress shirt.
Right. So he had like a blazer on, and then he had like a button-up, like I think blue shirt.
Yeah, just
a nice blazer shirt. Just a nice dress shirt, button up all the way, but the top button, of course, wasn't buttoned.
And it had a white T-shirt underneath. And I just thought that was kind of a thing that guys do.
Yeah. No, it was. You could see like 1 inch of this white T-shirt. Yeah, at the top of his neck, at the bottom of his neck.
Just a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm telling y'all, if y'all watch this show, she mentions that so much. Like, she's like disgusted by it.
Yeah. The foot fetish is cool, but man, that little bit of white T-shirt. And my thing is, it's such an easy fix. If we were dating, and maybe that was my thing. I wore white T-shirts, and then like 3 dates in, you're like, I just gotta tell you something.
I just say, yo, you look stupid with that white T-shirt on. You trying to look stupid on purpose?
And because I'm trying to, make things happen. That is an easy fix. And I can't imagine.
What do you mean by make things happen?
Make the magic happen, baby. Make it do what it do.
Oh, you mean fall in love?
Yep.
He ain't talking about that. He's talking about slicks. Okay. Let's move on. She hated that. I think it's fair to say she hated that.
Yeah, but and we've had some discussions here, maybe more about other people, but I think Lori falls into this as well. You get the feeling sometimes that because we're talking about later daters, people in their 50s or early 60s or past 70, that some of these folks, sometimes they're almost looking for a reason to be disenchanted with the other person.
Yes.
Like, what can I find that I can complain about that can be a wedge?
Well, because at that age, they've already been through some things with relationships, right? Some of them have husbands that are passed away. Some of them have, and outside of that, even before that, they've had relationships prior to that. So they know kind of how this works.
Sure.
So I think a lot of them, you can tell it's kind of like Logan, the dating coach said, I'm gonna dump you before I get dumped. I'm gonna dump you before I even get into you. So you have a chance to dump. I'm gonna dump you first.
But it's so, to me, counterintuitive that people at that age group would sweat the small stuff. Because the white t-shirt to me is so.
Because you would think at that age they would be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take a chance, right?
Yeah.
And I don't care.
Or like Suzanne, who I think last episode was really pressed about the guy she had dated who was not a Georgia football fan. He was an Alabama fan.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, now I can see if football's a huge part of her life, maybe not being a football fan would be a big deal.
Yeah.
But if he's down to watch the games and go to the games with you,
Yeah.
I don't see how that could be really that big a deal. But you would think they would graduate.
It's like they focus on a lot of things that probably shouldn't be that important.
Right. Yeah, you think at that age, if you can find somebody who's kind and decent and, checks all the other boxes, that those little things wouldn't matter.
But going back to Lori, Ty made a mistake because he didn't realize he and Lori had talked before.
Yeah, that was a little scary.
So if you watch the episode, when Lori walks in, she says, you look so familiar to me, like we've met before, but she just lets it go. So at the end of the day, they exchanged numbers. She already has his number in her phone. So she says, I knew I talked to you before. She says, now I need to figure out why we stopped talking.
Well, and
she said, you ghosted me.
It was back in like 2017.
Yeah. So she goes through her text and she goes, look, she said, this is my last message to you. She says, and then you ghosted me. Yeah. Of course, he says he has no memory of that.
Right. But also, they had talked back in 2017. We're presuming this was filmed in 2024. When they introduced Ty, it said that he'd been divorced for 7 years.
Right.
My thought was maybe he wasn't quite that single back then. But
he was in the process of getting a divorce, and that's why he didn't want to start anything with her. Who knows? But it wasn't a good look.
Right.
Logan, the dating coach, asked her, had she heard from him again? And she said, no, I haven't heard from him. And so Logan was trying to convince her to reach out to him.
Yeah. And was Lori open to that?
No, Lori, I wrote down, she says, a man is a hunter by nature, and she ain't gonna chase no man.
I think the actual quote was,
oh, okay. That's what I wrote down.
A man is a hunter by nature. He will hunt for what he wants.
Okay.
Don't chase a man. But no, I think
I just shortened it.
Right.
Okay.
I think your interpretation was probably what she was actually thinking.
She also said about the white shirt, going back to the white t-shirt just real quick, because Logan made the comment that you said about, well, once you start dating him, you can just let him know that, hey, I brought you this shirt, blah, blah, blah.
I brought you some t-shirts.
Yeah. So basically, like, have him wear what you like. And even Logan, I think, kind of made the interpretation that, look, if a man is with you, he's going to want to wear and look the way you like him. He wants you to like him.
Absolutely.
So, but Lori says she ain't trying to fix no man. I ain't trying to fix no man. Like, as soon as Logan started saying all of that, Lori's shaking her head, and you could tell, like, no, I get that some. I'm not trying to fix a man.
Well, the principle, yes.
I get that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think suggesting a way to wear his shirts or something that attracts you, right? Because she's not speaking for the whole population of the world, right? Because clearly white shirts don't bother me. Right. This is a Lori thing.
Right. But who gives a shit?
Nobody but Lori. That's what I mean.
So when you talk about fixing your partner, fixing a man, fixing a woman, like, if you go to his core values, he doesn't have a good work ethic. He's mean to people.
Okay, now that's stuff I'm not willing to try to fix you on.
Right. Agreed.
That's different.
That is fundamental to your character.
Yeah.
Not what you chose. Not what you pulled out of the drawer this morning.
God, no. So anyway, so that's a little bit of an issue for Lori. Another issue for Lori. She's got several of them. But she likes this guy, Felton, that she met at an event.
Yes.
Now, they have not gone out. She just met him at one of the events that she does. So Logan, the dating coach, told her, why don't you call him and ask him out? Lori thinks Felton has put her in the friend zone. Lori says, he sent me a bottle of his wine. I guess he makes wine or has a vineyard or sells it. And he sent her wine. So Logan said, sending someone wine doesn't feel like friend zone to me. And so Lori ends up showing Logan some of the text that she and Felton had. And it's like, hey, babe, hey, miss you.
Good morning.
You should see each other again. Good morning. Like, it's like little flirty stuff. And Logan was like, that's not friend zone text.
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes you wonder what's in Lori's head.
Yeah. There's nobody I text good morning to that's in friend zone.
Well, I hope not. You ever I text that good morning to nobody. It's going to be good night for both of you.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
It'll be good night for both of y'all.
So let me ask you about the not chasing a man thing, though, because I want to get your opinion on that.
Oh, okay.
So, yet again, we're dealing with a certain, now it's our generation, essentially. I think Lori's close to our age.
Right.
We're both in our mid-50s. What is your take or your thought on, quote, chasing a man?
Oh, God, no. I would never chase a man.
But, okay. But I think there's two parts to this.
Okay.
Number one, what qualifies as, quote, chasing a man versus, because I think really chasing a man, I get. I mean, Lord, I'd never chased a woman that hard, but texting a guy saying, hey, you want to grab a drink on Friday? Is that chasing a man?
That's a tough one. I think there are other factors in play here that need to be in play. It depends on how the communication has been between us. Does it seem like you're interested through text? If we're going back and forth. So for instance, when I was on the dating site, I think I remember telling you that guys that just want to chat. They'll be chatting. We're chatting. I get you're going to chat for a little while, and then eventually somebody's got to ask somebody out. I think for me, a guy was like chatting, and I'm just like, what the hell? I don't want a pen pal. I'm not going to then initiate, let's meet for drinks, because I feel like that's chasing it.
Yeah. So if it was the initial get together.
Okay.
Right. So as opposed to, we have gone out a few times and now you're just re-upping to initiate another get together. Is that different? We've had 3 dates.
I don't even know. You know what? And I got to be honest here. I'm not a big fan of asking dudes out. I'm not. And that's you can say it's old school or whatever, but I am not a fan of a female asking the dude out. Because in my mind, if a dude likes you, he's going to ask you out.
And that's the part, like, on the one hand, I don't feel like just saying, hey, let's grab a drink on Friday it's not like this, sorry to use this word, but like, it's not like a pathetic chasing a dude, I'm so desperate. But on the other hand, if they've been talking all this time, why hasn't he ever said, hey, I
agree. And that's the thing. That's my hiccup here. Like, I kind of agree with Lori about not wanting to ask Felton out because in my mind, her showing the flirty little text, him sending her the bottle of wine. Why haven't you asked me out? So I do agree with her on this.
Yeah.
I do feel like it will seem like she's chasing him. They've had way too many flirty texts and him initiating with the bottle of wine. Now, what he should have done with that bottle of wine is put a little note in there and say, hey, we need to get together soon.
Right.
Or let's share this bottle of wine soon.
Or is
something.
Or is he in a camp where he just likes the attention, likes a little female attention?
I think he likes the attention. And I think a lot of dudes do that. And I just don't think there's no reason why he couldn't have asked her out by now.
Yeah. And I mentioned this when we were watching it too, that so if we step out of the show, like, shows it like, quote unquote reality TV, but we know no reality TV is 100% real.
Right.
Because Felton's already been seen on the show a few times.
Yeah.
So we know he's signed a release. He has agreed. So part of me thinks they'll probably end up together.
Yeah.
Or at least end up dating by the end of the show because it's like leaning that way.
Yeah.
And he knows.
And they showed him way too many times.
Right. So he was obviously given permission for that.
Yeah.
So if we take down, the fake barrier between the show, well, now we know that he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah.
And he doesn't maybe know all those private conversations, but he knows he's in the discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why he hasn't asked her out, but I think that's an issue.
Maybe Felton's just trying to give us good TV.
Who knows? I don't know. But Logan brings in Lori's grown kids to talk to them about about Lori's personality, her whole persona, right? And it was really difficult for Lori. Lori had to sit there and be quiet.
Yeah.
She used to be quiet.
Yeah.
And you could tell her kids it was almost kind of like they were a little bit anxious kind of having that conversation.
They were like gun shy.
Yeah. And because they know how their mom is.
Yeah.
And the daughter starts out by just saying her personality can be overwhelming.
Yes.
And boy, is that an understatement.
Yeah. Yeah, they both kind of seemed a little afraid to talk, but the dating folks made Lori be quiet for 5 minutes. So then let her talk, and you could tell it was a struggle.
The kids basically said she's overpowering. The daughter said, and this is kind of made me a little sad. The daughter said she couldn't have a voice until she went to college.
Yeah, that was hard to accept.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
That was a hard one.
And then Logan told her that with that big personality, that people are not attracted to that energy.
People don't feel attracted to your energy. I was like, ouch.
Yeah.
And Logan, she usually kind of soften things, but I think she's kind of realizing she got to get hard with Lori. Because Lori's like, she's such a hardhead. She's not gonna, and she will literally, like, I gotta be honest with you. I thought seeing Logan, and then when Lori came on the scene, I thought, oh my God, Lori's gonna run over Logan.
Damn.
Like first of all, she not, because when Logan first addressed the glasses, and then look, Lori was like, right? And I'm thinking, oh my God, she's gonna run over her because Logan's too nice for her. Logan, she can handle us then.
Yeah, no, because also the other thing, I really like this comparison. She said, people who are dating, especially at this time in their life, they're looking for a home. And she's like, you don't feel like a home. You feel like an airport.
Oh my God, yes. So she told her she felt like an airport. I was like, wow.
Because if you're supposed to be a home, airport is about as far as you can get from a home.
Oh, so far, so far.
I spent one night at an airport. It was awful.
And you know what? If you've seen the show and you see Lori, Logan saying that makes so much sense.
Yeah. And Lori is taking it back to,
oh yeah,
got me.
It was harsh, but she needed to hear that. She really did. Lori said she's afraid of being hurt. She was like, so I come in hard and strong, so I'm afraid of being hurt. Okay, bitch, welcome to the club. We all afraid of being hurt. That's a part of giving your heart and trying to open up and being vulnerable and trying to find love. It's the possibility of you getting hurt that comes along with it.
Wait, so you're saying women don't like rejection?
We do not.
Nobody does.
Do not. And I think like for a while, and I think I said this in another podcast, I think I was like doing stuff to you or testing you because I was like, okay, then if he responds wrong, then this is over with because it's going to end anyway. Right?
I didn't know I was being tested so early and so often.
I know, but you actually, you test well. So yeah, Lori, she's like, I come in call hard and because I'm just afraid to get hurt. Okay, that's a risk you take with dating.
Sure. And she does come off as defensive.
Oh, she
defensive from out the gate.
Oh, out the gate. Even if you notice, every time she starts a date, she's basically kind of like, where you from? How many kids you have? What's your job? Where you been? Why you do that?
Where'd you get that white t-shirt?
And everything is like, nope, it's not a smile. I mean, if they crack a joke, she might laugh or whatever. But she comes in so serious as if she's like, it's an interview.
Yeah. Like she has an outline that she's following.
Yeah.
To get to the end.
Yeah. It's so hard. Like she really does need to soften up a little bit and not take the date as a rough interview. And I don't think she knows how to do that.
No, but I think that is a defense mechanism. Now there is, I think we'd agree on this. At this age, you do kind of want to address some of the major issues. So for instance, when we met, we were both 44, questions about, are you thinking, do you ever want to have any more children? Stuff like that, maybe religion, maybe, some of the big relationship issues, but it also doesn't have to be in the first 10 minutes of the first date.
Oh, no, of course not.
But that Lori does seem to want to just get down to business, brass tacks. Who are you? What are you bringing over here? And it's a little standoffish.
I agree. And Logan thinks she should pursue Felton. Mm-hmm. Now, Lori FaceTimed Felton and invited him to her birthday party.
Yes, she did. And so did we get an answer on that?
I don't think we did. I think they're like waiting on that.
It's like the cliffhanger.
I think it was kind of like a cliffhanger because we didn't see his answer. Like all they showed us was that he said, oh, really? And it was like a pause. But again, it could be editing to make it seem like he's thinking about it. He might not have paused that long.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So we don't know if he's coming to her party. I like you, I don't think they would show him that much if she wasn't going to go out on a date with him.
Right. Yeah, we know this is all edited for TV at the end.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think that wraps it up with Lori for that episode.
And so I think the next one we had is Nate.
Yeah, he's our
Army veteran. I think he's 55.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for love. His best friend is Jackie, his baby mama.
So they opened up with the producer asking Nate and Jackie, hello, everybody wants to know. Elephant in the room. Why aren't y'all together?
Right.
And Nate is pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And Jackie says that they considered it.
Right. You have a theory.
But that they just were not compatible. Now, Nate says they're more like brother and sister.
Right.
I think Nate is saying that because he thinks Jackie isn't cute enough for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Which it was.
Because we already know Nate is very cakey.
He is. He's a good looking dude, right?
He's an okay looking dude. Yeah.
Which gets to another point, though. So I think he did have a date with a woman named Michelle.
Right.
But I want to talk, before we get to that Logan had some feedback on Nate and his dating approach. And she had a term that I really liked. She called him a maximizer. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Yeah, she said he's a maximizer, that he comes into
He suffers from unrealistic expectations.
Unrealistic dating expectations, yes. But the term was a maximizer. Like you want everything to be at the top.
Oh.
And she didn't break it down like this, but the way I took it is, looks, personality, job, whatever. Well, whatever, top, everything's gotta be top. And she said that he, when you're a maximizer, you kind of want to Frankenstein all of the best qualities into the same person.
Oh, yeah. That's unrealistic.
Of course. Now, I think I found somebody like who hit all of my highs at the top level.
Aw.
And she's here with me today. But you really do have to keep your expectations reasonable. What are the things that are most important to you? Make sure that they all pass at least your minimum standards, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that you can go into dating just like, I'm going to get a woman who's a 9 or a 10 in looks. She's going to have such and such money. She's going to have such and such.
Right.
She's going to have this job. We're going to be interested in the same topic.
Yeah.
It's work.
But again, that goes back to how we started this. They all are super, super picky and not willing to budge on things that you would think at this age that they would be.
Right. You would think, because at the end of the day, and I think I've told you this before, but I'll share it, Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go back to when we were dating and actually when we got engaged. So I had told my dad, he passed within the year after we got engaged.
Right.
And so he didn't get to see our wedding, but he met Tanya, and which I'm thankful for. And so my dad, he was a very pragmatic guy.
Yeah.
Really loving, but also just things need to make sense to him.
Yeah.
So when I told him the week before I was going to propose, say, hey, I'm going to propose to Tanya. Mm-hmm. And certainly he had nothing bad to say about you or anything, but his take was, why are you going to get married? If you're not going to have any more kids, I don't know why you get married. Why not just live together?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I explained to him that, to me, this relationship was moving in that direction, and it felt really good. The things we had in common and our shared experiences, relationship-wise. Mm-hmm. And again, this was just really an opportunity for both of us to be in a marriage or a relationship that we really wanted to be in, because that wasn't either of our first marriages.
Right.
So I broke it down for him like that, and he was receptive. And again, there was no malice or ill will behind what he was saying. It's like, no, you get married.
Yeah.
So he calls me back the next day and says, sorry about that. I was probably out of line on that. And he goes, plus, I don't know a lot of women who would go for that anyway. But what I told him during the first conversation was, I said, Dad, really, the coolest thing about this is that the only thing I could say, even close to negative about Tanya is she's not perfect.
Right.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Because nobody's perfect.
No, because you live in that world where that's true.
Yeah.
So if you can find somebody well, she's not perfect, but damn, she hits everything really good.
Yeah.
When you're in your 40s, and certainly by the time you're in your 50s, you should be open enough and realistic enough to know that, man, if she hits 90+% of the stuff I want in a person, fucking lock that down.
Yeah. That's about as perfect as you can get.
That's it.
Yeah. But these people are wanting 100%.
Yeah.
They're not even leaving any room,
Yeah. So Nate does go on a date. He goes on a date with Michelle.
55, divorced twice, has 3 kids.
Yeah. So what's your take on Michelle?
I thought she came in looking nice.
Yeah.
Had her assets out.
She did.
She was very presentable.
Mm-hmm.
They had, they had a poolside date.
Yeah, that was weird.
They weren't going swimming or anything. They were just meeting for drinks. And that's fine. We know we're in Austin, and there's a lot of hotels that have amazing looking pools and poolside bars. Yeah. But this one didn't seem that way. And they sat in lounge chairs, the ones you laid back in. They sat in those, and which I thought was very strange. But anyway, it was interesting. She ordered a drink. She ordered a margarita, and I think Nate ordered like a virgin something. And she was asking him like if he drank, and he said he doesn't drink. And she asked him, does he mind if she drinks? And he said he didn't mind.
Yeah.
Now, I think Nate might nix her because she drinks. Because like it just feels like if it's not 100%, he's not gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, she's attractive. She's actually the most fun person we've seen him go out.
And you know what? At the end of the date, he told Logan that was the most fun. That was his most fun date. Like he's never been on a date that fun before.
She had like the really fun personality.
She had a great personality.
And she's attractive.
Yeah, she's very attractive. She seemed like she was very open to, like, you know, of course, when he said, she asked him if he danced, and he was like, I don't really dance anymore because my ass is dead. And he was like, I move a little bit. And it seems like everything that was like a negative for him, that he thought was a negative for him, it didn't bother her. And she's like, oh, okay, just stand there and groove. You know, like it wasn't like, oh, well, okay, well, I like dance, so too bad. And even with the drinking, like that didn't bother her that he didn't drink. Just seems like the stuff, she wasn't as picky, or she seemed like she wasn't.
Yeah.
And at the end of the date, I think he said he didn't know if he was going to go out with her again.
Yeah, which was a little surprising to me.
But he says that about every day.
He does.
He's like, I don't know. I don't know yet.
Well, he wants to wait for the process to play out.
Well, he wants to date as many people as he can, sounds like.
Right.
He says he hasn't met his match.
Yeah. And that's a thing. Like if you've had a connection before, you want to find something that has maybe a similar spark.
Yeah.
But also, you know, you got to have a certain level of spark that you're a fan first date, but also it can grow over the beginning if there's enough of that at the beginning.
But he did say that this was his number one date so far.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they're getting to his perfect match.
I have a question for you in that regard. Go back to our first date.
Yeah.
I'm like, so refresher for the audience. We did a coffee meet and greet on Friday afternoon. Then we had our first like going out dinner date that next Sunday.
Yeah.
2 days later.
Yes.
And so if somebody were to ask you after our first date, tell me the thing you like about him most, the one thing you like about him most, what would it have been?
It probably would have been your personality. And that you were just fun and you laughed a lot.
Okay.
Because that was important to me, to get somebody who had a good, fun personality and it was easy for them to laugh, and somebody I could just be silly with. And that was obvious, I think, on our real date, that we both like to laugh a lot. So yeah, I think that probably would be the first thing I would say.
Okay, I'll take it.
That's the right answer?
I'll take it.
Okay. So on to Pam.
Pam is 70.
Yeah.
And she's a live wire.
She's a live wire.
Yeah. She's like the poster child. I think I said this before, the poster child for adult ADHD, which is not a criticism.
No, it's not.
I mean, there are obviously positives. Like, yes, she's spontaneous, although she's fun. She's, I would say easily distracted, but fun.
Right. So her last date didn't call her back.
Right.
And she thought it was a decent date. She didn't seem like she was that hurt over it. She was just kind of like, oh, you didn't call me back. It's fine. Right. So she has her next date with Dwight.
Yes.
He's 70 and he's but.
Yes, he is. Yeah. And Pam is white.
And Pam is white. Yes.
And interesting, like, you know, we have this issue, I think, last episode with the niece, where like the idea of interracial dating for us, like, oh my goodness, he's a white man.
With the niece, yeah.
Yeah. She was not put off. It was just unfamiliar mostly. Like, right. She really hadn't dated white guys before.
I feel like Pam's dated a few black guys.
I feel like Pam has dated the rainbow. I think if Pam is down for a good time and a dude comes with a good time, Pam says, where do I pay? Let's go.
Yeah. So Dwight brought her flowers, but he brought her flowers in a vase.
Which was important to you.
Yeah. I was like, okay, there you go.
And let's talk about flowers, though. We talked about that yet?
We talked about it a little bit on the last episode.
I think, because remember on Nate's date, you think that we didn't talk about that, but he like forgot the flowers inside and he had to go back inside to get the flowers. Yeah. He was so put out by that. Like, he was so intent on showing up the flowers.
Yeah.
And then as we've talked about, like, flowers, like on a date, when you bring flowers now I'm just giving you homework. Now I give you a little project to get at home. And it's just, whereas I think a better approach would be, if you have a great time on the first date, then send them flowers.
Send flowers. Yeah. But at least Dwight brought flowers in a vase.
Yes. So now she doesn't have to like.
So I think that was very nice.
Yeah.
They went to Johnny's Hideaway Bar. It looked like a old, like one of those like hotel bars or whatever, right?
Yep. Yeah, I was telling you, it looked like when I went to college in New Hampshire, we used to go over to the Holiday Inn in White River Junction because we could get in after we turned 21. It was just like an old hotel bar. And for anybody who gets this reference, in the Blues Brothers, where Murph and the Magic Tones played, like this old, tired hotel bar.
Yeah.
It's just odd. And anyway, yeah, it's like the scene,
That's literally how it looked.
everything's orange.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's how it looked.
Yeah.
They seem to have a good time. She was asking Dwight if he has a type, and he said he doesn't have a type.
Did Dwight seem even older to you than 70?
It seemed
He was an old presence.
yes, he has a very old presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could be 107. But he's a very fit 107 year old.
But he's black, so black don't cry.
Oh, for sure.
So
And he has a very peaceful demeanor.
Yeah.
I think like a good dude.
I think his whole personality makes him seem older.
Yeah.
That's how he carries himself. Like, to me, and again, he's 70. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. But when you see him, he seems like he acts like he's older than that.
Yeah, and I think I just figured out what I think it is. He's very deliberate.
Yes.
Like, if he's going to like reach for his drink, he's been thinking about that for the last 10 seconds. And he's going to like, all right, we're going to do it now. Right? Like everything's thought out. It's the way it seems. But he seems, impressions through TV, seems like a decent.
Yes. Like a nice guy. Even so, to the fact that when he has a kind of a tour company.
Yep. Giving tours around Atlanta.
Yeah, around Atlanta. And Pam seemed very excited about that. She said, I'm going to work for you.
I know. Which is a weird thing to say to your first date.
To say. And I thought he handled it very well. You could tell he looked like he was shocked by it.
Yes.
And then he says, okay, he says, well, let's talk about, like you said, very deliberate. Let's talk about that for a minute. He says, so he turned it into you've given me an idea. We could do like just a tour thing, but organizing a girls' night out, like, just with like older women, kind of thing. And she was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah. And he says, and then maybe help me with that, which I thought was really, really a nice thing, a way to kind of turn it.
To create a bridge.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when you're on a first date and you're telling this woman about this business you had started a while back.
I want to work for you.
You have two options there, at least two options. But the two that come to my mind is, that's crazy. I don't know you. Like, what are you saying?
So you tell me you have your own law firm.
Right.
And then I go, I want to work for you.
Can I send you my resume? Good Lord. Let's see how this date goes. But no, to his credit, Dwight is like, instead of saying, that's crazy, I don't know you.
Right. Which it seems like to me, most people would be just like, I don't know. That seems weird.
Instead, he thinks about it for a second and comes back with something like, let's talk about it.
He's so nice about it. And then he's like, and then he makes it seem like he even turns it around and makes it seem like she thought of this brilliant idea for this company.
Yeah.
And he was like, wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for suggesting that. Like, he turns it around and makes it seem like a positive for her, which I thought that is really sweet.
So is he just the nicest guy in town, or does he have the craziest, best game of any older dude around?
I think he's just the nicest guy.
Okay, maybe.
I think he's just a nice guy.
Yeah.
I really do think that.
Well, hopefully so.
But we'll see. They seem to like each other. They exchange numbers.
But she did not, as she did an earlier date, she planted a kiss on the dude as they were leaving.
She did not do that.
She did not. At least not that we saw. But
Yeah.
I'm sure they would have showed us it.
Right.
So yeah, none of that.
But that means she does not like him. No, like that.
No, I think she does like him.
Okay.
And I guess we'll find out as we go. But yeah, so she didn't. Maybe she is viewing that maybe as being too forward. Maybe that was a quote mistake.
Yeah.
Because that dude didn't really follow up.
So, question for you.
Yeah.
When you were dating, did you always feel like you had to get a kiss on the first date?
No.
Were you expecting a kiss on the first date?
I've usually got one, but it wasn't like a big deal.
You usually got one?
Just playing.
No, how do you know if it's safe to give her a kiss? How do you know she wants it? I guess you just go by the vibes.
It's all the vibes. I mean, I think one of the biggest signals to me is like if there's touching going on. If you're, let's say, an hour or more into the date and the touching starts.
Yeah.
And, that's a pretty good indication that at least a little something could go down tonight.
Oh. Was there touching on our date? He's so bullshit.
All the touching.
He's so stupid.
Okay, did we kiss on our first date?
I don't know. I've been sitting here the whole time trying to think if we did. I feel like we did. The date was just too good not to.
It was probably like end of the night peck, though. I don't think it was anything beyond that.
Anything crazy.
No.
Yeah. Huh.
Wait, you're not the one. No, you don't.
Stop, Muppet. Stop. I feel like we did something. Like a kiss or a peck, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Because we had way too much fun to just say, okay, bye.
Yeah, no, I think, man, I wish I had a better recollection of that.
Me too. Why can't we remember that?
Well, yeah, I think it probably was a little kiss.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Either of us, just wondering.
Yeah. Does that wrap it up with Pam?
That wraps it up with Pam. You're on Anise.
Well, and not much to say about Anise.
About Anise, her daughters selected a dude for her to date.
Right. And I think we saw him, right?
We saw him. He was very good looking. And what's funny is you could tell Anise was really attracted to him.
He was so distracted by his appearance.
Oh my gosh. Like she walked in and she was like, wow. And of course he was attracted to her too. He was like, wow, as well.
She looked like a 4-year-old seeing their first Christmas tree.
God, this is the most excited we've ever seen Anise on a date.
Yeah. Her eyes got so big.
Yeah, because usually the guys are like wowed by her because, like I told y'all, Anise, when she go on a date or when she go anywhere, she goes pop, 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 it, pop, 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 baby. She got her assets out and her ass out, okay? So she knows how to dress her body.
She has deciphered how to get a man's attention.
And yeah, and I like how she's comfortable with her sexiness. Let's just say that. She owns it. Yeah, she owns it. And she just like, yeah, I'm still wearing my type dresses. I'm like, yes, girl.
Yeah, her dresses all look like she should be on the TV show Suits.
Yeah.
Like she's working there.
But every time she goes on a date, you can tell the guys, you're like, wow, right? And she's just kind of like, hi, how are you? Right? She's like very, calm. But man, when she saw Big Willie, she walked in and she was like, okay. She was like, wow. And then they sat at the table staring at each other for a long time.
And she's like, your eyes are so
just get lost in them. And I'm like, oh, okay, get a room.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, they both definitely were attracted to each other.
Yes. But we didn't get to see much of that date.
We didn't see much of the date. They're kind of saving that for the next episode. Yeah. But she does mention Big Willie.
Yeah.
Again, she calls him Big Willie.
Yeah.
Now, Anise doesn't realize this is a sexual reference, Big Willie. So, and of course, he doesn't say anything to make her think.
He just happily receives that
reference. He happily receives that reference. He does. Yeah. But they were definitely attracted to each other. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out.
Yes. So I think that sets us down for this episode.
That shuts us down for this one. And the next time, y'all join us for the next episode because should be pretty interesting.
Indeed. Until then,
yep.
Let's all take a sip.
Until then, take a sip. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, y'all.